committed to preserving the vast customs of a vibrant cultural heritage.
Welcome to Darshan America, folks. We come to you from Washington, D.C. My name is Ramesh Bhutani.
And I'm Aastha Verma.
Well, folks, Indian American Leadership Initiative had their annual convention here in Washington, D.C. I happened to meet up not only with the organizers, but as well as with the candidates who were running for different offices. Most of the big ones were running for Congress, but across the country, almost in every state, there are Indian Americans that are running for state assembly or state senators and the others. One of the most amazing things that I saw was almost everyone said, "We are Americans," which is very nice to hear. And everyone said, "We need to make sure the jobs stay here." A girl from Kansas, he's running for Congress. He was very forceful to say that he does not want outsourcing out of his state. He wants to make sure that the jobs remain in this country. So, folks, going forward, there will be Chinese Americans, there will be Indian Americans, there will be Korean Americans and the others, and many of them are going to go in Congress. And one cry you will hear from all of them, "We are Americans, we need to protect our jobs here." So that was the most interesting thing.
I'm not altogether surprised by any of the things, actually, you mentioned. The fact that it's our young generation that's going after some of these Congress and local constituencies that are going after local seats. It's because, you know, when our parents came, when the first generation came, they were interested in making sure that they were financially viable. You know, they made money so that they could take care of their families. Their kids went to colleges here, but they didn't necessarily pursue the traditional fields. They didn't always go into medicine or engineering or law, which are the traditional three areas we go into. They're getting broader in their pursuits, and I think politics is a good place for us to be because we're generally very articulate, we're hardworking, we have a good reputation for delivering, and that's, I think, very good in the political landscape. I'm not surprised either by the fact that they're claiming themselves to be American more versus Indian American. Yeah. Because let's face it, you know, their electorate, many of these areas have rich populations that are not just Indian. And the economies in these areas isn't necessarily doing very well. Jobs is a major part of that economic condition that we're in. So if they are for outsourcing, they're not necessarily going to resonate with that message in their home base.
There are 2 or 3 candidates of Congress. They have passed their primaries. They came through the fire, is what they call the test. And the others have yet to go through it, and some, I guess, they'll straight go to the November election, and it depends on the pecking order as to where they are, whether they will become what they want to be. But Manan Trivedi from Pennsylvania, he impressed me. I mean, the guy is a vet. He's also a physician, and he wants to be a congressman. He really wants to serve his state, Pennsylvania, and, of course, serve the country. And he did come in, and he said, "You know what? I would like to talk to Indian Americans." In fact, he will be in Washington, D.C. on August 15. And, folks, if we want to support any of these candidates, it's important that they get money. But also remember, if they get too much money from Indian Americans, it does not work in their favor.
Well, then they'll be seen as very divided, which is not what they're going after. They want to take a populist view. But, you know, the point you make here about whether they succeed or they don't succeed, even if they're the first of their kind to run for that office, they'll pave the path for someone that comes behind them, even if they don't succeed. So I think no matter what, they have to call themselves a success for getting to this point, for making the impact that they're making. And I think it's important for the generation that is running to embody not just the Indian side of themselves, which comes from a lot of times their parental roots. But many of these candidates have not lived in India. They have not endured the hardship that their parents have endured here. They are American products. Yeah. So I think while it might cause some heartburn for folks like my parents or my parents' generation to think of these candidates as not promoting India in the classic sense, they also have to remember that we live here and we have to help sustain the economy here, and we have to protect the country that we love, which at this point, being American citizens, that's who we are.
You know, we promoted IALI when they first came out. First time around, folks, IALI was bipartisan, no problem. But they felt being bipartisan, they were not plugged in to any one party to get that blast of support.
Right.
But now that they have plugged it in, IALI has changed. They support Democratic candidates. I am sure there is a Republican side of it, and probably both of them should be friendly to each other, just like Republicans and Democrats in the evening, they're friends to each other. But you're right. I like the idea. I've always said the first rung on the ladder is the rung of failure. And if you can cross that, that's when you go higher and higher. So it's okay to fail, not a problem.
No, and it's also great to see that there are women running. You know, we interviewed Aruna Miller not too long ago on the show, and here we see more that are in line to run for office.
If you're running for Congress or the others and you would like to make sure folks see you on television, come here to Darshan. I'll tell you why. Darshan Television right now is in 31 million homes. Consider that India Abroad, which is a very nice newspaper, only goes to 70,000 homes. Or India West, that only goes to 30,000 homes. And you may say that, well, how about ZTV, Star TV, and all of those TV? Folks, none of them have clientele beyond 250,000, according to the Pew survey. And I want to tell you, this is a great opportunity. 31 million homes. So that's where you want to be.
Well, you know, there's a good reason for that, and that's because a lot of these newspaper publications or a lot of these special TV channels, they're all subscription-based.
Yeah.
You know, and that means you have to subscribe to them. You have to pay a service fee to receive them. And by and large, the population that does subscribe is Indian American.
We actually are on mainstream television.
It's free.
Anyone who has a television set will be able to